Now, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has also hosed down the idea of sanctions against China after 3 warships were found to be undertaking live fire testing in the Tasman Sea this week. The opposition and security experts are calling for a stronger response from the federal government. But Mr Albanese says China was working within international law, and that's despite revelations China did not formally inform the Australian Defence Force of the testing, which then forced a warning to commercial flights in the area. Evelyn, is this diplomacy, or is Albanese being China's pretty boy again, soft when it comes to standing up to the threat on our doorstep?
Look, I definitely think, as soon as I saw that China were building concrete islands just north of the Philippines, you just know that, why would you be doing that if you don't have a purpose for them? And of course, they probably will come up with some purpose, but I think we would be wise as a nation to always be cautious of China doing things like that. That being said, though, I do think that Albanese comes across very weak. I do. I know he's your friend, Joe, but I do think on a world forum, putting him up next to other world leaders, he would just seem quite weak. I do think Dutton, the one thing he has over Albo is he seems a lot stronger on defence, on border issues, on immigration issues, those sorts of things. So for that, I think as a nation, we would be safer in that regard. But that being said, I think we have to actually be very careful with how we deal with China. I don't think we should be chummy with them. I think we should be friendly in the sense that we don't pee them off too much, because at the end of the day, if we don't have America as an alliance, we're absolutely cooked. China could basically do with us what they want. So I think it's really, really important how we tread here. I do think we need to pull away to a degree and perhaps invest more in Commonwealth nations. That's the long-term thing. But, like I said, without America, China can do whatever the heck they want with this. So we need to be smart about this and not be unwise. And, I do think that at the moment, Australia also should pay attention to what the Vice President is saying, JD Vance. Trump's also said it. He has said that, basically they're not going to supply military support to countries who don't share values with America. And so for me, as an Australian, I think, wow, we've just put in all of these hate speech things, and America is very big on freedom of speech. And if we're not careful, are we going to get military assistance? And if we don't, things like this with China are quite scary. So there's 2 aspects here. We really need to cozy up to America, our big brother, our military alliance. We've been in alliance with them since the 50s, a military one, which is fantastic.
Since the Second World War.
It's funny because, Kel, the last person that we seem to be cozying up to is our American allies and perhaps our allies in the Middle East, you know.
It's clearly, it's a government which doesn't have a really clear defence intention. So it's a bit, you would say with a normal country or Australia when it was functioning properly, there would be Australian warships shadowing them, right? In a safe way, but shadowing them. Where are the Australian naval ships? That's right, we don't actually have a fully functional Navy. Where are the Australian military aircraft overflying them and spying on them? No, we don't actually have a full... So it's not... We can't just blame Albanese. So, Joe, he's partly off the hook. It's been a series of governments that have played down our defence. We do not have the defence capability we have. Everyone talks about this. Greg Sheridan writes about it quite often. Everyone talks about this, and there's been a plea for any government, the Albanese government, the next government, to start beefing it up. The next war is going to be a missile war. We know from what's happened in the Middle East and what's happened in Ukraine. And we need to be equipping now. We need to be doing things now. We needed to be doing things 5 years ago. It's time to catch up, and to just go really soft and really weak does not look good.